Alright, how's it going, guys? I haven't done a tasting in quite a while, and I kind of wanted to start off with something that I haven't consumed a lot of yet. I got this as a gift from my boy Jose, and it is a barrel proof version of the typical Lalo that you've seen. Just the 40% alcohol, pretty standard for most tequilas, and you are starting to see more tequilas do a barrel proof or just a high proof. So instead of 40, 45, 48, 50, etc. And you've kind of seen that with, I would say, like whiskey. It's starting to become like a little bit more common to see like 50% alcohol instead of like a typical 40, 45. Higher proofs are becoming a little bit more common. More people want to taste the pure kind of aspect and not be as diluted. Now, it was kind of shocking to see Lalo release this. And luckily, this was available at big box stores. I believe we got it at Total Wine. To rewind a little bit, if you haven't heard of Lalo, it is basically the grandson of Don Julio, Lalo Gonzalez Jr., and he created this tequila, which is basically no aging, no additives, 100% blue Weber agave, and it's supposed to just be pure. That's kind of the whole aspect of it. It's traditional, pure, and just a high quality blanco. Excellent tequila is the whole purpose of it, I would say. Baked in stone ovens, crushed in roller mills, and fermented with champagne yeast, which is pretty interesting. And from my history, Lalo is becoming more popular. You're starting to see it in bars a little bit more often, which is awesome to see. Maybe that's just an Austin kind of thing, but it's very good. It makes an excellent tequila. It's excellent to just sip on its own. Overall, it's just good, hands down. No complaints about it at all. The history of it is cool, but I kind of want to compare these two and see if the extra price is actually worth it if you're able to find one of these bottles. Now, I do know it was limited. You may still be able to find some like in a store. You may not. They could be gone forever. But overall, kind of just want to see how good it is compared to the typical 40% and what that extra 14% actually does for the kind of just flavor in general. Now, it does appear to be like a $30 difference. I remember the days when you can get this for like $35, but what I'm seeing now, it's like 41 to 45 depending where you're at. And then this one is at like 74.99, something like that. Of course, tariffs are probably going to hit it a little bit, but it is what it is. Now this one is almost empty, but and of course this will taste slightly different. It's been oxygenated. It's been sitting there for a little while, but it should be good enough. That was a good pop. That tells you how often this one has been opened. Alright, so they should be pretty much the same color, of course. One's just diluted a little bit more. That speaks for itself. Of course, just agave right off the nose. It is very strong agave on the scent. And then you get, personally in my opinion, a little bit of like black pepper, maybe a little bit of vanilla. And almost like a creaminess. It kind of reminds me of, I believe it's the Amberana cask. You get like a kind of like creamy cinnamon. Very excellent nose on that. Now the higher proof, 14%, we're jumping up. I get more of like a cooked element in it. Now, the sweetness is like different. Meaning like it's almost like a little bit more creaminess on it. It's not as like just calm and like gentle. I don't even know how to word that. Is much more in your face in that opinion. It's like a sweetened like heavy cream. I still get like a touch of the like cinnamon, maybe a little bit of vanilla, but I feel like I lost the black pepper in my opinion. I could be tripping a little bit, but Maybe I do get a little bit more, but I feel like I get a little bit more black pepper out of the regular one, which is kind of crazy. You figure it'd be amplified with this, but... Okay. I gotta try them at this point. Pure agave. That's just pure agave. Like, if you wanted an agave forward spirit, this is it. Of course, it's made out of agave, but sometimes you lose that kind of like, it's hard to explain. It's a very like subtle sweetness, a very ever so like nuttiness. You get that touch of the black pepper on the end note. It kind of carries right on the sides. Even at 40%, you still feel it pretty good. Overall, you do get a touch of the almost the woodiness of it, kind of char, minerally, but I feel like I get a lot more of the agave note with a little bit of black pepper in my opinion on this one. Now I'm gonna go up just back to that 14% higher, about 54%. Now that it's kind of sat out a little bit longer, I'm getting kind of a very similar note to this one. Oh yeah. This one, at least right off the bat, does not taste like 54% alcohol. It is not that strong. It's not gonna kill your palate, in my opinion, at least from the first sip. Now, I do get a touch more of kind of the woodiness, the minerally kind of like aspect of it. But I am getting that cinnamon again, which I really love. It's an excellent note. It may not even be there from what they say, but I haven't read what their notes are, but that's what I'm getting. That's good. That's really good. For being 54%, easy to drink. It's definitely a touch up from the 40%. I really like this. It's excellent. I remember the first little tiny sip I had it a long time ago. I remember it just being phenomenal. This is the first time in like months that I've actually had it. It's good. The more that I drink it, you are getting a little bit more of that proof. You're starting to kind of taste the alcohol just a little bit more, of course, which makes sense. You get a touch of that agave flavor. I gotta go back down, which my palate could have changed, but I do still really like the notes of just the 40%. It's still really agave forward. I think it's because when you dilute it, that alcohol kind of touch is going to die down a little bit. So sometimes more flavors can pop out that you may have missed from the alcohol content itself. Yeah, this one's like pure agave in my opinion. This is excellent. That is what I expect from a Blanco. It's just good. That's all I gotta say. This one, I feel like is a nice step up. It's definitely gonna be a little bit more kind of obvious that it is a slightly higher proof, but it's nothing that really like burns more. I wouldn't say the flavor profile is extremely different. I do get just like a touch more of like the woody kind of aspect, minerality of it, which is kind of expected. But overall, like the burning of it is kind of similar. I would say if you could get this and you want a really nice sipping Blanco, worth it all day. Usually when I go for sipping, I go for a reposado or an añejo, but for a Blanco, this is an excellent just sipper. You can mix it if you want to get that higher alcohol touch, or you could just use a little bit more of this if you really wanted that extra alcohol content. But this one's excellent. You're gonna get the notes that you want. It's very calm. It's nothing that's like punching you in your face of a certain note. Overall, it's extremely still well balanced for being 54%. And I'd say it's good. I'd buy it. For the $75, it's not bad. Depending where you go, it is only going to be $20 to $30 more. So overall, I'd say it's a winner, and either one of these is an excellent pickup, but kind of play that how you will depending on the proof. All right, so if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe like this. I'm going to make more. I typically don't do a ton of tequila content besides cocktails, but tasting wise. I'm always end up kind of whiskey, rum, stuff like that. But cocktails are my thing, and that's what I like to work on. If you like this, let me know, and I can always do more. Have a good one.